the retreat industry and wellness tourism is growing like crazy. There are a ton of incredible wellness practitioners out there who recognize the opportunity to start a profitable retreat business. But most people who are getting into the industry, and even many well-established retreat leaders, are approaching the business aspect of it all wrong. What's up? I'm Ian with Retreat Help, where we help retreat creators and conscious business owners sell out their retreats faster, increase revenue, and have a greater impact through simplifying the business aspect of their retreat business. We've worked with and consulted countless retreat creators from all over the world, and there are some issues and mistakes that people make, especially in the beginning of their journey, that we see over and over again. In this video, you're going to learn how to start a retreat business the smart way, the critical skills that you must learn, and the most important things that you need to be focused on at the different stages of your journey as a successful retreat creator. And there's one skill that I believe everyone should be learning at this time, and I'll share that at the end of this video. And spoiler alert, it's not growing the biggest social media following as fast as possible or booking the most exotic tropical island location for your event. All that flashy stuff is well and good, but at Retreat Help, we focus on the fundamentals and on helping our clients build a strong foundation for their business, because having a strong foundation is the key to maintaining long-term and sustainable success. And we see that even established retreat businesses get some of these things wrong. So whether you're just starting or you've been in it for a while, this video's got something for everybody. So stick around to the very end and make sure you get all the juicy little tidbits and knowledge. But before we get too deep into it, I think it's important to address the fact that the retreat industry is growing very fast, and it's changing. The shift in the retreat industry and wellness tourism really started around 2020 when COVID hit. The pandemic was a really challenging time for a lot of people, and I think it brought to surface this underlying need for a shift in our focus towards mental health and well-being. Across the board, people realize that we need to be taking better care of our mental health. But how do we do that? What does that look like? How can we accomplish that? After the whole lockdown experience where people were cooped up for long periods of time, vacation getaways seemed like less of a luxury and more like a necessity and an opportunity to do inner work and have a transformational experience. After all of the restrictions to travel, people realized how important it was to be able to get out of your comfort zone, get out of your home, and go and do something different. And rather than just go and sit on the beach and drink Mai Tais, again, it's an opportunity to improve ourselves and focus on our mental health and come away as a better person. And I think that shift in mindset is one of the big drivers to what we're seeing now in the retreat industry and the enormous amount of growth that that industry is having. It's not just going to a destination anymore. We're seeing a rise in hybrid retreat models, which is a combination of online and in-person events. There's also been a lot of growth in the corporate wellness space. Big companies and corporations are recognizing that in order to maintain their key employees and the staff members who really move the needle for their business, they have to do more than just give them 2 weeks of vacation. They're starting to implement health and well-being into different retreats that they can send these people on. And this is one of the reasons that there are so many opportunities arising in the retreat industry. The key to starting a retreat business in a sustainable way is to start small, but think big. Start with a plan, take action, get experience, get feedback, integrate that feedback, and take action again and rinse and repeat. A couple of key things you can do when just getting started is to start your retreat locally and start with a smaller group size. Under most circumstances, starting locally is going to make it easier for you to find a venue for your retreat. And having a smaller group size is going to put less pressure on you when it comes to filling up all the spaces in your retreat. You're also going to find more options for retreat venues if you have a smaller group size. Staying local and starting off a little bit smaller is going to really help minimize the upfront cost for the retreat. It's also an awesome opportunity to get some experience, get some feedback, and potentially some testimonials that you'll be able to use later on to build social credit. But remember, start small and think big. So right from the beginning, you should be trying to implement systems that will be scalable later on in the future. It's also really important to document what you're doing. That way, in the future, when you go to set up your next retreat, you can look back and see what worked in the past. And if you want to take on new employees or write SOPs, you'll have some frameworks set up that you'll be able to work off of. Make sure you have a plan and strategy from the beginning. As you start to gain experience and feedback, you'll be able to adjust your plan according to the input that you've been getting from the people who attended your retreat. You'll start to know what works, what doesn't work, what feels good, what you'd rather not do. And that can really help to craft a plan and a strategy that's going to help you in the future. One of the most common challenges we see from people who are just beginning and from people who are more well established is consistently filling up their retreats. And a key component of filling retreats is having an effective and efficient marketing system. Marketing is important, but it doesn't have to be super complicated. So let's just think about it. Marketing is about building trust and relationships with future clients. That's it. And there are many ways to go about doing that. Whether you want to use a more organic strategy or paid ads or a combination of the two, there are some components of marketing that are going to be really important as foundational assets. If we're thinking long term, one asset that you're definitely going to need is a website. Now, depending on where you're at in your journey and how well established your business is, you may not want to spend a lot of time and effort on building a website, quite frankly. At Retreat Help, we build websites for people, and you'd probably be shocked to find out how often I'm telling people not to invest in a website. Is it important? Yes. In the very beginning, is it the most important thing? Definitely not. The truth of the matter is, fewer people are going to websites these days, and the people that are going to websites are spending less time on them. You don't need a big, flashy, expensive website. You need something that's clear, concise, and professional. And that can be established with a relatively simple website that leads your customers and the people who come onto your website through a very specific journey to a desired goal. A confused mind always says no. So when it comes to websites, the keyword is clarity and simplicity, which is 2 words. You can start with a relatively small and simple website that still reflects an era of professionalism and is a place where people can go to view your business. As you start to get feedback, you can post testimonials there. You can use it to house a blog. It kind of becomes a nexus point for all of your content. Speaking of content, the other major thing that you'll need when getting started, even if you're well established, is having a content strategy. Sure, you can start just throwing posts out there, but in the long run, having a strategy is going to help save you time and really make your message more concise and clear for your potential audience. If you don't have testimonials or footage from your last retreat, you can still have a meaningful social media presence. And by posting, you're going to help to build that know, like, and trust factor that is essential to marketing. You can create posts that document your journey as a beginning retreat creator. Those are super powerful. People want to hear your story. You can also share about your area of expertise, and that helps build authority. Another thing you can do is start talking about the retreats that you're going to be holding to start to build anticipation for them. In reality, there's a ton of different ways to start building and marketing your business. Now, I get asked a lot of questions when it comes to posting on social media, and there are 2 key components when it comes to finding success in social media marketing. The first is in regards to frequency. People always ask me, how often do I need to post? And my answer is, post as often as you can that you can do it consistently. If you can post 3 times in a week consistently, week after week after week, start there. If you can only find yourself posting once a week consistently, post once a week. It doesn't really matter how often you post if you're not posting consistently. Consistency is the key, because with consistency, you start to build a habit of posting online. If you start out at 1 post per week, eventually you'll be able to go up to 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever your sweet spot is. When it comes to posting, consistency over quantity. The second key to success in posting online is a commitment to improvement. If you can commit to improving by 1% every week or every post or every month even, you will get better and you will start to see results. If you're posting videos on YouTube, maybe you commit to improving your thumbnails or the captions for your videos. Maybe if you're posting on Instagram, you go back and look and take feedback from the posts that do really well, see what you were doing in those videos, and try to replicate that in the future. Or you can go online and see what other people are doing that they're having success with. As long as you commit to consistent improvement, you will find an improvement in your results over time. And if that's the case, the only way you don't succeed is if you quit. One of the reasons I'm such a big proponent of small incremental improvements is that it's sustainable. And that brings me to the next point, creating a sustainable business model. So how do we do that? Well, we just spoke about marketing, which is one of the crucial skills to learn when it comes to building your business, especially in the beginning. The second really important skill to learn is sales. And sales in the retreat space, it often has a bad rap and people have some resistance to it, but it doesn't need to be that way. If you are marketing in an authentic and heart-centered way, and you really believe in what you're doing, a sale is simply the end result in a long series of interactions that you have with a potential customer. If you clearly demonstrate the value of your product, over time, people will just want to work with you. And the sale comes really easily. There's nothing forced or coercive or manipulative about it. Sales is simply the skill of converting an engaged audience to a paying customer. One thing most people don't put enough time and effort to, especially in the beginning, is creating a well-defined sales process. This is also called the customer journey. It's really important if you're in sales to know all the different steps that somebody has to go through from their very initial encounter with you or your brand or your marketing to the point where they are a paying customer and beyond, if you're looking for referrals and testimonials. To have sustainable long-term success, you really need to know each of the steps along the way. Because when you know what each of those steps are, you can start to analyze your process and see where people are getting hung up, where there's bottlenecks, where you're having a lot of success. And by smoothing out the customer experience and the customer journey and looking for spots where people fall off or fall through the cracks, you can really start to, again, gain long-term sustainability in that. If you know that for every 20 discovery calls that you do, that you'll get 5 people on the back end that will reliably turn into customers, that's really powerful to know. Another component to a successful and sustainable sales process is really understanding the people you're talking to and having a well-defined client and customer avatar. By really understanding your potential clients and who they are, what their desires are, the problem they're trying to solve, and the solution that you have, your sales conversations are going to be much, much easier to have. To be clear, you should expect to be having sales calls with your potential clients. You can call it a discovery call, you can call it a whatever you want to call it, but having that touch point and having somebody that they can talk to is going to go a long way in starting to build that relationship, especially if somebody's going to be forking out multiple thousands of dollars or even hundreds of dollars to attend your retreat. Unless you have a lot of brand recognition or have already worked with someone, you should expect a sales call. From the very beginning, it's good to think about potential multiple streams of revenue. Think about different packages you can create within the same offering. Think about things like masterminds and ways that you can start to build recurring revenue and keep people engaged with your business and with your offerings. The sky is really the limit when it comes to putting together creative ways to stay in contact with the people that you've been working with and to continue to build those relationships and keep them as a customer. And the last thing necessary in building a solid foundation for your retreat business is thinking about how you're going to leverage technology. Think about all the things that you need or may need for your retreat business, like a website, CRM, a blog, a booking system, social media management, potential courses or communities that you could be creating. It's best to go ahead and make a list of all those things and then arrange them in order of importance. Remember, we can use technology in a way that enhances our connection and relationships with our potential clients. It can save us time through automations and different softwares and different services so that we spend less time doing the repetitive administrative tasks that we really don't like doing and spend more time interacting with the people who really drive our business, and that's our customers. Something like an automated email nurture sequence can really help increase engagement with your audience, even though you're not the person pushing the send button on the emails. And that's just one of many different ways that technology can be used to simplify your business so that you can spend more time doing what you want to do. And the last skill that I believe everybody's going to have in the future is knowing how to work with AI. AI is not going anywhere, and it's becoming more and more infused with marketing, sales, and technology. And the sooner we can learn to integrate it and work with it, the better off we're going to be and the more effective we're going to be in our businesses. One area where AI is having a huge impact is marketing. Now, marketing, again, is really crucial, and the skills around marketing are super important to learn at all aspects of retreat business and just entrepreneurship in general. And when it comes to the retreat business, marketing is changing. So if you want to learn about the upcoming trends and how to use AI to capitalize on the evolving retreat industry landscape, watch this video right here.